Hey everybody, and welcome back to another X-Plane 11 stream. We're on the ground here at a place called Praslin, or Praslin, depending on your background. We're in the Seychelles. Picked this up a couple of days ago. And it's really, really nice. So, we'll go through a couple of background details. Tell you all about it. Disappear our music. And get this guy back on the screen. Okay, so hope you guys are keeping well. As I said, we're here in the Seychelles, Praslin Airport. It was released from Aerosoft and maps to X-Plane, if we can say that right. It's available on the X-Plane store. $49.99 US. It's a huge scenery. It's massive. It includes a heap of stuff. We'll go through it here fairly quickly. So you get the Seychelles International Airport plus this one here, which is Praslin Island, a couple of miles away. It comes with 13 additional airfields and 4 helipads. Its own custom mesh, vegetation, buildings, the whole shebang. It's really, really good, and I've been having great fun flying around here the last couple of days. The download size is about 3 gigs, and when you install it, it takes up about 7 gigs of space, so it's fairly big, but I do think it's worth it. Today we're just going to have a quick look. We're going to fly in the X-Rotor's AW139. If you go over to xplanereviews.com, Stephen has a comprehensive review. I suggest you check it out because he goes through a lot of detail of what the scenery is and everything around it. Settings wise, we're messing around with Vulcan. It's sometimes it's grand and sometimes it's not. So I've actually had to turn off HDR. Now here's something interesting. On my system, with HDR turned off, loading the sim, it'll crash. It's a GFX error. So if you load the sim up with HDR and then turn it off, it just works out at a much kind of smoother experience, I suppose. There's very few stutters, and if you're not really flying at night time, you're not going to notice the difference. Another thing to note is as well is our weather engine. We're flying with UltraWeather XP 2.6 point something, not quite sure. It's the latest one. There have been a couple of updates to it. When I first picked it up, I wasn't overly impressed with it. Now it seems to be working fairly well. I have been using SkyMax Pro for the last number of weeks, and it's been very good. But UltraWeather XP is also holding up really, really well. I do like the clouds. The sky colors are phenomenal. Really, really nice. So in our chopper today, we're going to take off from our little airport here, and we're going to go across the way. We pan around. So you got an island just over here. There's a small helipad in the corner. We're going to try and land there without exploding and crashing into the sea. It could work out really well or really bad. We'll figure it all out here shortly. So, this chopper, great fun. I find it one of the easier helicopters to fly in X-Plane. I've been using this now for quite a while. It's still in a beta. They haven't released an update, or they haven't released an update on this in quite some time, but it's still working fine. So let's jump in, get it all started, take a bit of a flight, show off this island and the next one, and see where it all goes. So how do we figure this out? So we get our battery on, get our gens on here. That should be on auto. Get some lights going here. Peter don't need jet strobes, we can turn on. Keep our rotor brake on for the moment. Come down here, get some lights on. Flick these guys forward. Jump up to our fuel control so our main pumps can come on, crossfeed close, and our tanks can come on here as well. Pull out these little visors just because you can. Rotor brake here, we're going to reset that. You'll see the rotor brake is now disengaged and the rotors are going to try and start moving. So to start it up, engines 1 and 2, they'll spool. We can add in a bit of fuel now. Do let me know in the chat, guys, if everything looks and sounds okay. It's coming alive. Put our engine switches now onto flight mode. Condition levers all the way forward. And we should be pretty much good to go. The Reality XP GTN 750. A really cool add-on. We'll squawk VFR here in Europe. Leave that as it is. Jump outside, make sure all our sounds are working. Sounds good. Landing lights have come on. Okay, so let's try and do this without, you know, crashing. Okay, so we're going to start lifting the collective just to add some power in. And we're going to try and control it here on the ground using our rudder pedals. I've also changed my headset and mic, so I'm using this called a Steel Series Actress, I think it's called. Black Knight, how's it going? Sounds good here. One more time around. Now you said it, man. The last time it was disaster. So I've been a couple of days trying to figure this all out. Found the culprit, which was HDR. So let's hope everything starts working a bit better. So we'll do a sporty departure out of here. We're looking alright-ish. Keeping an eye on our torque, our speed and our rate of climb. Bringing our landing gear. Some of the advantages of turning some settings off means you can turn other things on. So you'll notice we have nice reflections. Well, I say nice reflections, we have reflections. Which is a nice addition. So watch our torque speed, really good here. We're going to pass off this little golf course here on our right hand side. We're going to do a tight right hand turn. And hopefully hear these rotor blades slapping through the air. I've been working with an absolute tonnage of add-ons over the last couple of weeks. We've had XP Realistic version 2 come out. That is an absolute masterpiece. We've had plenty of updates to X-Plane itself with the various betas. Some of the Flight Factor gear got updated. The Tolus gear got updated. What else? Well, the weather engines as well. SkyMax and Ultra Weather XP. I have X-Enviro as well. I'm just not getting the performance I want on OpenGL. X-Enviro, if you guys have it, it's kind of a love-hate relationship, but I've seen some of the pictures that Magnus has, and my god, if that ever gets finished, it's going to be awesome. So we wait and see. So we'll jump outside here. So with the amount of detail in these islands, and like there's a clatter of islands, all these trees, fantastic rocks, like they're all hand placed, so you have all these rocks and whatever here on the ground, all the beaches, cars, roads, traffic, really, really cool. So we're running a little bit better. Speed looking okay, altitude we're high enough. The glare shield on this chopper, these are actually tinted windows. It depends on the livery you go for, so there's a couple of liveries you get with this. Plus good few on the explain.org in the forums, and there are some very talented developers in there and artists in there who make nice repaints for this particular chopper. But I don't know what it is. It's just one of my favourite choppers to fly, purely because it's easy to me. Some of the other ones are quite difficult and they're very touchy and tetchy. This one, it's very forgiving, which is a good thing. Black Knight, I'm glad. Thought your machine had turned into a mini plastic barbecue. It so nearly did, especially with the frustration when everything was working perfectly and then suddenly stops. But yeah, no, happy with it. So it's on my system. There's something to do with the HDR function. That's why I was getting total stutters when recording. So hopefully all is well. And the sounds, God, it takes so long to get sounds working. So this LZ we're looking for, it's on this island that we're approaching. It's about halfway up on the right hand side. We're very high, so I'm going to lower the collective, try and keep the nose up, bleed off some of our speed, and try and control our rate of descent as well. So far so good. So with Ultra Weather XP, you can see the clouds there. They look fine. You know, they come across as the volumetric clouds. They kind of are and they kind of aren't, but they look a lot better than I think version 2.5 would have been the last Ultra Weather XP that we had. So what we're going to try and do is touch down here and then spin off and go somewhere else. But it's one of them sceneries that I didn't really see a whole lot of coverage from. I think R1 made a video on it, R1 Aviation, and it's really good. He goes through some phenomenal detail, and you know, the SAM plugin works here. You can, I think there's seasons in it, but you know, you can open and close hangar doors and gates and stuff. It's really cool. Okay, so I have the LZ in sight. We're going to continue our approach. There is a bit of wind to contend with. We're descending slowly. Speed is fairly okay. We're going to go ahead now and lower the landing gear. I did this a while ago and it worked out quite well. That means nothing to you now, but yeah, I've got this. And if I don't, I'll, you know, we'll call it a glitch or something. Okay, so there is a bit of wind here to contend with. So the livery we're using is this one. It's a stock one that actually comes with the chopper, which is nice. There's a whole lot of wind here, even though the weather sock isn't really showing it.
150 feet.
Okay, let's see how this turns out, guys. What do you reckon?
LDT. LDT.
Don't hit the trees, Murph.
PDP. PDP. LDT. LDT.
Random car appearing in the distance. Don't hit the little hut. Ooh, a little bit jumpy. Still a little bit jumpy. And touchdown. Okay, what do you reckon? Have we nailed it or are we off it? Let's see. I know, right? I would love to say, like, yes, absolute precision and amazing things, but it's not. Still pretty cool though. And like, this is one of 13 different airfields. Well, you wouldn't class this as an airfield, but like, it's one of 4 custom built helipads for the scenery. Not too shabby. Okay, so to get out of here, again we're going to raise the collective. We're going to add a small bit of back pressure and use our rudder pedals here to add some yaw and head her on out. So power coming in, yaw out, and now we'll dip the nose and climb out. Nice. Good speed, good climb out. Landing gear coming in. And let's continue on. Yeah, so with this chopper, the X-Rotors one, the AW139. Again, I just like it. It's a fine chopper. It's modelled really well. The sounds are good. Okay, so let's head across the pond and head over to this main island. This is where the international airport is located. Not the easiest of places to get in. I think Lufthansa fly in here and a handful of others. So get ourselves somewhat trimmed here. Yeah, landing is it's a fine art. Like it's. Do you have rudder pedals, Black Knight, or are you using everything just from the joystick? Like choppers and X-plane, and I imagine in the real life they need like the smallest inputs. And you don't really see a lot of choppers getting streamed in X-plane, which is, you know, you have the diehards who are just phenomenal pilots, even sim pilots, and they can land these things pretty much anywhere. But they're, you know, they're a good challenge. They're nice to get used to. System-wise on this, it's you know, it's made better if you have the add-ons like the GTN 750. It just adds that bit of functionality to it, especially if you're flying around. There is an autopilot setup here. You can use auto hover and stuff like that, but yeah, it's just nice to fly. So I wonder if we change our time of day here just to get a bit of a different perspective on our clouds. It's kind of super dark, but it looks alright, doesn't it? Now, bearing in mind there's no HDR, so you're going to lose that extra bit of crispiness. Still looks good. Yeah, I don't think you can fly these without rudder pedals. What ones do you have? I think I've asked you that before. I've been like toying with the idea of picking up the Thrustmaster, either the TPR, I think. Only because they look fantastic. Then again, I have heard great things about the MFG Crosswinds. And then I'm thinking, do I wait for Honeycomb to come out with theirs? So if you guys haven't got Ultrawater XP, it has this new interface. They've really simplified it. Q8 done a good video on it. You know, anything from your sky textures, all your different settings and whatever else. There's no sliders. It's just a tick box now. You want something, you have it. Which is really, really handy because, you know, sliders were fine, but this is just pretty much away you go and use it. And the same with XP Realistic. I mean, that thing is good. And there's one there's one effect on it, scared the bejesus out of me. It has you can sneeze. Try that someday. Set it to random, particularly on a night flight when it's quiet. It'll wake you up. So we've nice effects coming across here now with the clouds. Everything's looking nice. Good visibility. Nice use of kind of haze going through it as well. We've got some high level clouds here also. Reflections, they kind of just add to it. Colours are quite good. And we've just gone IMC. So bring our altitude down here a little bit, get back onto these clouds, watch our speed. A couple of other camera shots here. Oh yeah, I started using X camera again as well. They've updated that. I knew I was busy on something else. So with X camera, I'd be a total noob, as in I got it ages ago, didn't really use it. The new version of it is a little bit easier. So if you guys are interested, I'd be happy to show you what I've done and how I make it work for me. So it has its own set of views, so I can select them after binding a button on my joystick. So you can just pan through all the views. And then you can go to the external shots again, click of a button and set up these. So you can have views that kind of transition and flow into the next, like looking this kind of stuff. You're looking up, looking down. That's not going to make anybody sick. And then when you're outside, they just kind of jump. So with the main island, there's quite a bit of detail here. The airport itself is fantastic. You have the use of SAM, and there's a lot of scenery gone into it as well, so we'll do a small bit of exploring before we hit the airport. And the custom mesh is really, really good. It's phenomenal. So we'll meander over this direction. Yeah, the combat rudder pedals, yeah, they're so much better than the generic ones from Cytec. I think your heels stay on the floor on them, I think, right? So a bit of a frame hit here coming in. We're sitting at around 30. Still perfectly viable though. And again we have ground reflections on. I've lost my ground shadows though, as in from clouds. Don't really know why. You got boat traffic there as well, small ferries zipping around. Good evening, Mr. Crawford. Welcome along. Hope you're keeping well. Okay, so they actually are moving, just really, really slow. So my excuse of like there's a lot of wind is just completely gone out the window. So we're up at the harbour here. Spin around here now as well. Yeah, the last stream of the Dolphin, it was pretty cool, and since then I've had so many problems with my system on X-Plane, and I'm to blame really. It's this is running Vulkan, and this is the 11. This is the Beta 4, so it's 1150 Beta 4. I've found it to be pretty much the most stable, and I was terrified to go into anything else. So far so good. Like as of now I think Beta 11 is out, and I'm kind of on the fence because this is working fairly alright. Loading times and all that, they're all fine. Get our landing lights on here. Good long runway here, so we can take our time. Lowering the collective, keep the nose up, bleed off a bit of speed. Bring the landing gear out. So the main airport, very nicely detailed. That's awesome scenery, it really is. Yeah, like that's the thing with the betas, like it's certainly if you want to wait till, you know, a release candidate comes out, it's a lot of the bugs are usually sorted by then. Like my main X-Plane, which is still OpenGL 1141, it's like the amount of add-ons and scripts and whatever just to get everything working right, and I found with Vulkan I didn't need half of them to get the performance I was looking for. Leader speed off here. What's the old descent rate?
L.
Easy does it. Get ourselves touched down here now. That'll do. And we'll taxi on up. Morgan Bulb Studios, dude, I'm telling you, it's total fluke. Don't know how I'm doing it. It's some sort of strange sorcery. But it's all about utter patience and really tiny inputs. So we'll put ourselves over here by the golf cars. Spin around, throttle off, don't go anywhere, don't move. Okay, park and brake can go on, jump outside, have a quick look around. You can open doors and stuff in here, so let's morph through the seats. I didn't see that before. Eek! Okay, we get this closed. Our imaginary passengers have been loaded. And we're going to take them up to Praslin or Praslin, or I think it's Praslin. Okay, what do you do to the views? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so the Irish Air Corps livery on this it was made by a guy called Scarp, and it's exact. It's exacting detail. It's fantastic. I still use it quite a bit. The Irish scenery that we have, Kino just released a new one in Donegal. Really, really good. I was going to do a video on that tonight, but I'm running ex-Europe as well, and there's a clash with the car park. So I yet to figure out how to disappear one and show the other. But yeah, with the Irish scenery, like there's a couple of helipads around the place. Especially if you're using ortho, you can see them. I think with the short final design, he included quite a few helipads for training and practicing. But for me, what I've figured out the easiest way to learn fast in a chopper: never pick your one location on the ground when you're very far away from it and really high up to say, yeah, that's where I want to land. Like, plan it, and give yourself a wide berth going into it. Follow the runway going in, lower yourself just like you would in a fixed wing plane, and once you kind of figure out your speed and your rudders and everything else, it works out a little bit easier. That being said, this genius will probably crash now taking off, but let's see what happens. So time to bug out. So we add a bit of collective, not too much to tip over. So when we come onto the runway here, we're going to go to the left. Just on that, actually, you'll see the mesh here. Look. Really nice. Really nice. Okay. Bit of collective here. Bit more power. Get the wheels up. Get ourselves somewhat turned and lined with the runway. Great acceleration. Okay, speed is good. Landing gear in. Sharp turn to the right. Get that chopper slap. Watching the torque. And make our way back over to Praslin. Or Praslin. Let's just call it that island, because we don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, so power looking good, speed is good, rate of climb is good, temperature, pressures, all that stuff looking good. Landing lights can come off here as well. "35 landing pads in Ireland, that's a lot. I would love to see... Sorry, I would love an Orbex Ireland, although I'm quite suffice to say... Yeah, Orbex Ireland, the project, John Venemit did mention that a couple of years ago. They said, yeah, they were going to work on that project. They have Orbex Ireland on P3D and FSX. But I think the problem was there's... I'm fairly certain, like, they've paid for like a plane to come over and take photographs of the place. But I think there's licensing issues, and you know, you need permission from, I don't know, is it the Ordnance Survey over here? I don't know what it is. It's probably some typical, oh yeah, the Janie, where's that brown envelope that we were looking for? But it would be so good to have Orbex here. In saying that, the satellite imagery is fairly good. I've been using Bing, and in places it's excellent, in other places it's not so good. In saying that, you know, this other thing coming out later on this year, I would focus on that. The only thing is, though, there's no choppers announced anyway, not that we know of. And we're going back into IMC and we can't see a thing. We're lost! Let's have a look here in our trusty Garmin. Yeah, we're looking okay. There is actually a panel missing in this versus the real aircraft, and it goes right here. So I don't know if any of you guys know anyone, or if you can do it yourself. Can anyone like put the GTN 750 in there? That would be so handy. Yeah, Kino stuff is really good. You know, Shannon, Cork, Sligo, Knock, and now Donegal, really nice stuff. And like the scenery in Donegal, like Donegal was voted as, I think it was the second most scenic approach in the world. So if you have decent orthos running with a decent weather engine, just pick that perfect time of day and your approach into it, it's fantastic. Yeah, an ATR would be sweet. The Milviz thing, I think, didn't they try to do crowdfunding? Like Coronado came out with the Fokker 50, which is, you know, it's not bad. It's pretty cool actually. But I would love to see an ATR. The Saab is very good though, as your middle of the road alternative. And we're spoiled for choice because you have the LES one and you have Coronado's one. Yeah, the Aircore have the they have like a moving map right there in the middle display. I don't know, like even if you got away with it, if you were to edit the panel, even a G1000 would go in there, even just as a moving map. Cockney John, yeah, just get it, man, it's free. You do need, I think, 4 libraries to get the Donegal scenery working, but it's decent. And it's, if you're using ortho, it's Bing imagery. I think that's the only one that's working up there. Anything like zoom level 16 upwards is fine. But if you haven't seen his other stuff, some of the stuff Kino has there is Shannon and Knock. Knock is excellent. Looking good. So our plan is we're going to head back to our little airport here on this island, make a landing if we can, and shut her down. And I'll probably come back on tomorrow. We might do some fixed wing stuff here. So the scenery, if you're just joining to see what it is, it's Seychelles by Aerosoft. Maps to X-Plane are the ones behind it. It was released through Aerosoft. It's on the xplane.org store. I think it's $49.99 US. The 2 major airports, which are very well modelled, obviously the one behind us back on Seychelles in I think it's Maya is the island, and this one up here in Praslin. It comes with 13 additional airfields and 4 helipads. Download size, it's beefy. It's a 3 gig download, and once you install it, it's about 7 gigs. But that's really for the mesh, which is cool. Yeah, what I might do actually, I might hang on. We'll see, there might be time left. What we'll do, we'll land here and I'll load up Donegal. Now bearing in mind, the caveat is there's a conflict between ex-Europe and Kino's Donegal, just with the car park. Everything else looks fairly okay. So what I'll do, when we land here, we'll take 5, I'll reload the sim, and we'll have a quick look at it. They've already diverted a flight this week up in Donegal. Yeah. Well, there's not really many ditching options up there. Like, it's either you know, rock or the sea. Okay, landing lights coming on. We're finished with this. Okay, so again, it would be super easy to, you know, fly in like a bat out of hell straight over the airport, drop the collective and see what happens, but we'll try and do a longer approach in just so we can get our speed and altitude down. Okay, speed looking kind of alright-ish. Rate of descent is good. Landing gear coming down. Runway in sight.
LDP, LDP.
A little bit of wind. Nothing we can't handle though. A little bit jumpy. Set it down here on the old piano. Okay, touchdown. Taxi our way down here. So this definitely gets the old seal of approval, guys. This scenery is fantastic. Orbex in Washington. So here's the thing with Orbex. Don't get me wrong, it's like really good. It's super good, and they color correct everything. They add in some of their own custom buildings. Is it that much better than having ortho? I'm on the fence. You can do a lot in ortho as well, and the zoom levels that you're going to get with Orbex, depending if you want HD or SD, it tanks your resources. Okay, here looks like a good spot. So I'll take our landing lights off, start bringing our fuel back. Okay, cut our fuel. Start engaging the rotor brake. I think it's like 1%. Fuel pump's coming off. We got our lights down here as well. Battery's running for the moment. All the engines inside this thing. Two massive ones, one on this side, one on the far side. Slowly but surely. Damien says hi from the Seychelles. Hello Damien, thanks for joining. We're just about to take a quick break here. I don't have any kind of like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Intermission. It's just going to be a black screen that says be right back. So your imagination is key to the success of this. So what we're going to do, thanks for the subscribe as well Damien, fair play to you. If you guys like this video, do hit the old bell there as well. The bell, hit the thumb, and if you want to subscribe, please subscribe and hit the bell. See, I know I get it right. Alrighty, so what we're going to do, this is shutting down nicely. Gen's off. Get our lights off here as well. And our battery off. Successful flight in the chopper around the Seychelles. Or Seychelles. Okay guys, so the plan is we're going to go to a be right back. See if this works. I've never used the screen before. Yeah, okay, it works. Okay guys, 5 minutes. Let's reload the sim and we'll probably jump into Donegal. So see you in a few. Okay. Couple of minutes here now, we get everything up and running. Okay guys, audio and visual check. You might let me know, is it working? Is it kind of smooth and stuff? All good. Awesome. Okay, we have a bit of an error on my screen, but let's just ignore it. If you guys are happy enough that everything's working, then we're good. So, welcome to Donegal, the far northwest of Ireland. This scenery brought to us by Kino over on the explain.org forums. Now, don't mind the crappiness of my graphics. Again, it's anti-aliasing. That's what I blame. Actually, if I jump into my settings here, I think I turned HDR back on. I did. Okay, so GAA pitch, always great to see. The airport itself, the detail he's gone into. That song is just like overrated. Alright. So we have some sounds running in the background. Again, that's with Ultra Weather XP and also XP Realistic. So we'll zoom in, get a look at some of the finer details. So, free scenery. It includes people. Correct layout of the terminal building and also hangars. He's included some static aircraft as well. Really nice. Including the new ramp extension. Correct. That's all new. So if we ramble over this direction. He's not happy. He's waiting on a plane. Always great to see the old Oscuelga. We have the tower sitting here as well. So we'll jump around the side here. Jump over the fence. So he has the fire station modelled as well. Pretty cool. You'll see the glitch with my car park. But apart from that, everything else is looking fantastic. It's really great work he's done here. Phenomenal work. And to have this as freeware is brilliant. Because apart from Dublin, nothing else has been on a payware level in terms of development with teams of people. This is a nice touch. I take it he went up there himself maybe and took these pictures. What do you guys think? It is nice, isn't it? And again, the sound of wind and weather, which could change at any moment, which is kind of typical of the area. So what we'll do, we'll just do a quick flight and fly around the airfield. As you can see, there's not too many runoff options here, so if you get your approach wrong, you'll be out of there. Fantastic mountains in the distance there. Is it Glenveigh, I think? I should know, right? But I think it's Glenveigh. Have a wind farm up there too. And Murphy. Mind the camera, will it? And we have our flags. Donegal, or as we like to say, Donegal. All it's missing now is like a 20-foot statue of Daniel O'Donnell in a knitted jumper. Okay, so our little aeroplane that we're going to be using here is an Alabeo. It is a Cessna. Is it the 206? Let's have a quick look. That's not it. There we go. The 207 Skywagon. That's what we're in. And it's not a bad little plane. That mountain visible is Mount Errigal. There we are. And who said this wouldn't be educational? Okay, so let's hop into this plane and do a bit of flying around. I picked this plane only because it looks really kind of rugged and capable of taking a bit of a bashing. And it's an Alabeo plane and it's not bad at all. So, how do we fly this thing again? So we got our battery on. There's life. Fuel. Let's double check our fuel tanks here. Everything should be full, which it is. Mixture is in. Throttle 1/4. Parking brake is set. We're going to get our nav and beacon lights on. Get some interior lights going here as well. Yeah, they're nice. So, fuel pump. We have a fuel read here. Mixture cut and fuel drops. Okay. We'll disappear these guys before we go anywhere. Static elements. Good luck to you. Open our window. Clear prop. Turning our mags. And let's start her up. Okay, we'll take it. Good start in the engine. Keep the RPM up at around 1,000. If you go about 15 minutes up the road to Dunlow, there's enough statues of Daniel O'Donnell. By the way, if you haven't watched him set up his live video, I highly recommend it. You can't tell anybody that you're going off to watch a Daniel O'Donnell video, but if you do, yeah, it's got to be worth it. Daniel O'Donnell, I love my mommy. Hey, I love my mommy. Okay, so let's see here. Turn on our strobes, landing lights. Pitot heat because we're in Ireland and it's just going to be cold up there. Fuel pumps can stay where they are. Reset our L compass here. Altimeter is... Come back to my X camera. Get that little guy out the way. Avionics. Well, we have power. Huh, no avionics master switch. That's okay. Oh, we have landmarks on the owl sim. That's pretty cool. Now I know kind of south from Donegal we have Finner Camp, once operated by the Irish Air. It's still operated by the Irish Air Corps. I think for chopper flying. There was a small runway up there. I know they used to fly the Cessnas up there back in the day. I think they stationed a Dauphin up there as well. So we can fly over Finner if we want. We could be pure mad altogether and head down towards Sligo. Daniel O'Donnell, fantastic. Alright, so everything kind of looks decent enough to go. Yeah, we'll say it's VFR. So because we in Europe, we have a different one. We're going to originally set this to about 2,000 feet. Flight director can come on. Alrighty. Close our window now. Okay, a little bit heavy on the frames, but I suspect that is the weather. It looks fairly good, doesn't it? Okay, spin this around here. Don't crash into anything. Oh no, love. Was it Own MacLove? Yeah, kind of similar. Yeah, so they're having a chat about something. This guy won't be happy to see us fly out of here without him. Okay. It's a nice looking plane, isn't it? And again, it's the Alabeo Coronado modelling. Everything looks fantastic. Real high definition paintwork, and the overall model itself is pretty cool looking. The flight handling or characteristics, yeah. I haven't flown one of these. Their Cessna 172 is pretty good, and there's a new sound pack out for them as well. It actually works on the Airfoil Labs one, the default, and the Coronado Cessna 172, which are awesome. Now, anyone got a look at the weather sock? Yeah, we'll taxi down the runway and then head back up. Lights are on. A law unto themselves. I will say this airport is getting love and attention, both in the real world and in the simulator world. For freeware scenery, this is epically good for freeware. And okay, you might say the limitation with X-Plane, yes, there's these kind of weird looking graphics and the anti-aliasing is a bit of a pain, but all that stuff aside, it's pretty cool. As we taxi off the runway. That's what happens when you try and read a chat. And Mr. Crawford is like extremely funny. So if you're just tuning in, you're probably saying with the thumbnail, this is no Seychelles. So we did our chopper flight in the X-Rotors AW139, flew around, had a quick look. And then we started chatting about Donegal because Kino has just released a freeware scenery over on the xplane.org forums. And he makes really good Irish scenery. He has Knock, Shannon, Cork. And Sligo. Alright, I'd say that'll probably do us. We could go all the way to the bottom, but sure. Let's take this as a challenge. Okay. Flaps coming down. Mixture to rich. Lights are all set. Flaps good to go. Alright. Airspeed alive. We're going to aim for the 75 to 80 knots. There's 75. Rotate. And we're up. Nice bit of a crosswind there. Really nice. Cool. Alright, let's fly over this direction here. Yeah, totally agree, Black Knight. The paint kits can be a nightmare. Like the registration number they're always missing a digit. They tend to stick with the North American stuff. Systems depth, it depends. Like their GA stuff is fairly okay. In particular, the steam gauges, you can't go too wrong with them. Wait, it's bumpy up here today. Certainly their Saab is very good. The Falcon is very good, and the Fokker 50 is fairly good. So they were certainly able to delve into the systems. I just think they had such better aircraft when they were working with Stranda. Because not only was the support much better, you'd have Nojo and Dan Clow on being able to give people tips and advice, but I just think the aircraft are better. Okay, get our prop back. Flaps coming in. There's a nice wind hitting us here. We'll get over it. So, okay, we have ortho scenery and it looks really nice, but just to put things into perspective, the mesh up this neck of the woods in X-Plane is not paying any sort of realism, because there's a whole load of hills and little hills and slopes and stuff. But if we go up a little bit higher, we'll get the idea. My frames are fairly tanking it, but I hope everything's coming through on the stream for you guys. One extreme to the other. Nice warm sandy beaches, tropical weather in the Seychelles, up to the northwest of Ireland, where everybody has the same haircut, kind of a horizontal mohawk, because the wind blows and it doesn't stop. So as you can see, like the scenery here, it is beautiful. And again, depends on your time of day. Like if we, let's see here, let's start messing. You know what I mean? It's just really nice. They're still discovering fire. Yeah, there's rumours of someone coming up with this concept of a wheel. But no, if anyone, guys, if you get the chance to go up around Donegal and that, Sligo and Donegal are just painfully pretty. Nice easy flying. So far, so good. So anyone unfamiliar with the area, Donegal, up the northwest of Ireland. In terms of aircraft size, can't handle a whole lot bigger than kind of an ATR. Although in saying that, there's got to be a prize for like landing a 747 there. If Gripper Sim ever watches this, that has to happen, man. Crazy, like whatever about landing it here. Can you take off here? The reaction review. What do you guys think? Nice looking, isn't it? There's our frames back. Biggest thing we've ever had in the real world was an E135 executive jet a few years back. Alright, cool, okay. So in the X-Plane world we could try the... what would be similar to that? The X-Crafts... is it the 650? I think they flew the old government jet up here as well, I think. The G4 Gulfstream. I could be wrong. Black Knight put a 737 down. Deadly. Okay, what we'll do, we'll stick this on autopilot, get our height down to 3000, only a divot. Autopilot on heading, up to 3000, and that respeed us down the way. Let our speed build up a small bit. And we're just going to fly over, might do one more loop, and then bring it back in. Davin saying the Aircore PC12 is up there. Yes, I would love an Irish Aircore repaint of the Coronado PC12. I tried to do it myself, made a complete another mess of it. I just don't have the patience, and the other guys are just better off at doing that. Very pretty. John, you're running 1150 beta 11. You're saying that after a few initial hiccups, it's actually great now. That's good to hear. What's the loading times like? Because I've read some people having issues that was taking like 20 minutes or 25 minutes just to load up a flight. Did they get that sorted? I have to say, it's a great place to have a gap pitch. I would be no good playing for that team. Murphy, the ball. Yeah, I'm just watching this guy. So, these static objects and the houses and whatever else, that's ex-Europe. Version 5, so he's actually updated all the roof colours, which is more befitting Ireland. We don't have all these red roofs here. In terms of the style of the building, yeah, they're not a million miles off. They're not bad. It's a little bit more than beta 9 to 10, but stability and extra graphic settings are fantastic now. Yeah, I was thinking of it tonight, John. I was going to say, yeah, look, it's because I had to turn off the HDR for the Seychelles, which was super annoying. But I can run it here, which isn't too bad. So yeah, I might download the new beta. And then if it breaks, I'm absolutely going to blame you. In actual fact, I'll make a video cursing you. But I think they're very close to a release candidate now, because I have heard a lot of the guys saying beta 11 was so close to being perfect. Don't worry, the people who play for the team in real life aren't that much good, and they don't even like planes. Yeah, that's just like, yeah. How could you not like planes, like? Getting back to our Orbex versus Ortho debacle, so you can see this kind of a line here. Two tiles meet and there's a slight off-colouring. You can edit them in Photoshop if you're that way disciplined and you have the patience. But usually if they're that obvious, I'm just like, so we're flying here in Donegal, and it's really, really cool looking. Now these are ex-enviro lights. I don't know, how do you guys rate them? I think I can turn off this kind of a weird glow. Ultraweather XP lights rather. Let's see, lights. So dynamic light haze. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, they look good kind of far away in that, but they just give a misty look even if it's not misty. Okay, get some daytime weather back here. Swing around to the right. To the right, to the left. Yeah, the elevation data is kind of, yeah. Any of you guys use the, was it the HD mesh, the Ultra mesh? I think version 4 is the latest one. I haven't used it myself, so I can't report back what it's like, but I've read up on it. It's supposed to be very good. Maybe that would have a bigger impact. No, we don't want the yoke. We want this guy. I have to say, I'm starting to like Ultra Weather XP. Like, I've tried it the last couple of days. I was like, yeah, it's not there, because like the clouds are doing really weird things. They were like kind of pulsating and moving, and you know, you're flying at the same heading, and within 5 minutes the clouds like completely go from like overcast to clear, and they might go back to overcast or scattered. But I have to say, okay, I might need a bit of tinkering with colours and whatever else, but it looks pretty convincing. It's a cool looking plane. I like this. I think when Cessna released it, this is kind of before you got the Grand Caravan. Well, this is sporty. Cost it at Dunlow. Okay, we're going to plan a full stop. take it that's supposed to be Donegal town. I could be wrong though. Okay, let's go for a bit of a challenge here. Yeah. Something like that. Let's go with something like this. Okay, autopilot off. My aircraft. This will be a bit of a crosswind. We'll try and figure it out. I never noticed them lights down there. Approach light's cool. Yeah, that's handy. And rain and wind. There's no lib rain in Vulcan. You see, if we had I'll try that in English. If we had lib rain in Vulcan, yes, absolutely. But like, this is using real world or real weather data. It's coming in from FS Global Real Weather. So consider ourselves lucky and privileged that we are doing an approach into Donegal in relatively nice conditions and it's not raining. You too can say, I was there that night. We'll have to get t-shirts made up of this occasion because no one's going to believe you. This is a nice approach. There's a bit of wind. Not too worried on the PAPI lights just yet. We're only a small GA. I'm going to kind of keep it at 1,000 feet until they start lighting up. There's a bit of wind. Okay. Yeah, I'm digging the reflections. They kind of add that bit of a thing. Wow, this is fun. I show off flying choppers all night, which are considered to be difficult, and here he is in a simple fixed wing general aviation airplane, and it's all gone horribly wrong. Okay. The speed just wasn't coming down quick enough. We'll add a notch of flaps. It's a sizable runway, I'm not too worried. We're not going to need to hit until a good way down. What the hell was that? Random square rectangle shaped thingies. Oh, mind the dip. Oh, Julia. Dear Mrs. Two-Tone Murphy, he was a good lad. Too busy showing off. And that's when I went horribly wrong. Oh, that was abysmal, wasn't it? See? See? Being complimented on steady flying in a helicopter, getting back into a fixed wing, and an absolute hames of it was made. Okay, we're going to sheepishly taxi ourselves back in here. That dude who looked angry before we left, he's going to be really angry now. Ah, we broke your plane. Just as well I picked this plane. It's rugged. Landing light off. We'll park in front of the, just in front of that C90 there. That's what happens when you slag Donegal. They turn into wind shear. Yep. It's okay, no one saw it. It's absolutely fine. That was a perfect landing. What do you guys think? Rate my landing? Yeah, I don't think so. Alrighty. Parking brake can go on. Our flaps are up. We'll go about turning off our lights. Strobes off. Pedo can come off. All is looking fairly okay there. There's no avionics switch, so I'm not overly worried. So we can go to mixture off. There we have it. Welcome back in 1.5 pieces. Go back and pick the rim up from the runway. Yep. Clean up on runway 33, please. Someone left a doozy on it. Well, I have to say, apart from the god-awful landing and basically having to go with people from Donegal, which is only a laugh. People from Donegal are really nice people. Especially Daniel O'Donnell. This airport, hats off to Kino for bringing this to us. It's freeware. It's absolutely amazing. If you guys pick it up, do help the guy out. If you can donate the price of a Guinness, I think that's what he's asking for. But just to give him that bit of encouragement to continue bringing Irish scenery to X-Plane, because we all love it. So that's pretty much it for this evening, guys. Thanks so much for joining. It's been a blast. I have my stream working now a little bit better, so definitely going to do a few more. Try and do something tomorrow as well. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep safe, and we'll hopefully catch you tomorrow at some stage. Alright guys, until then, see you later.